Yeah. And the tradition is that I learned at Everyday Zen and that we've continued here is that at the beginning of the practice period to read a little bit from each person's application, not in a way to identify you and to reveal the most private things you told. No, that's not the. But it's always it's inspiring. We think we're just us, we are. We're just getting up and sitting down and going to the bathroom and trying to figure out our lives and all those things that happen that we like and we don't like and simultaneously, we are Buddhas waking up to be Buddha. That's our nature. This is Bodhisattva practice. That's what we're doing. And it's just us. There's a great saying about when you walk into zendo, because I often feel this, is when you walk into zendo, you see 16-foot tall golden Buddhas. You can't believe. You just see it. It's not a small thing. And sit upright and present, and you can feel it. So when the Dharma statement that I did to open the practice period, I brought forward Dogen's One Bright Pearl. Ika Myoju, it's number 4 in the Shobogenzo. And I brought it forward, and I'm going to do it a little bit more, and then Gretchen and I are going to share all the bright pearls that each one of you have offered. Little jewels, your applications. Well, one, I think, sometimes I think, well, like last year we did the Lotus Suit. Well, that was that. Now this year we're gonna do the Lojong, and like, what do they have to do with each other? I mean, is there any continuity here? And then some of you may remember that not so long ago, we did a ceremony that Paula Arai, you're fine. I mean, with us. Paula Arai helped us do a ceremony, One Bright Pearl. Remember that? We passed the pearl and we've had the pearls on the altar at Sangha. I thought, so what does all this have to do? It doesn't matter if you were a part of it or not, but I do think, because the Lojong teachings are Tibetan in origin, and one of the things that I love the most about practicing over time and studying over time is realizing what luminous jewels the teachings are and how they all reflect and shimmer in each other. Just in the same way that we each do that, and each person and each thing. So that's why I wanted to lay a little ground before we just jump into these practice period applications and the Lojong teachings. So Mika Myojo is an essay, it's an extended commentary on famous sayings of Tang Dynasty monk Yanshan Shibei, 1835 to 1908. And excuse me, 835 to 908. Early Tang Dynasty. And it's like past, present, future. What he said was, the entire world of the 10 directions is one bright pearl. And here it is. What is it? And then there's, as koans are, there's a dialogue, a question and answer, but essentially it's, how should I understand this? How do we understand this mysterious, radical, interdependent co-arising that so often just looks like a bunch of dumb people bumping into each other. Especially when you watch politics these days. I'm sorry, that was just my own little commentary. No, that's why we do these things, is to remember. Paula Arai said in her ritual and in her ceremony, that she enacted with some of us, and then we did in Sangha. We pass the pearl to one another as we see each other deeply through the heart. We are each unique with specific qualities and characteristics. This is our perfection. We are one bright pearl. One bright pearl communicates directly through all time. Being unexhausted through all the past, it arrives through all the present. And while there is a body now, there is a body now. Put your hand on this body now. And a mind now. They are one bright pearl. Even the stupid ones. No. I like to sneak in the shadow because I don't think it's just me. Then we invite it into the room and realize, yeah, it's all part of the luminous one bright pearl. It's also the one bright pearl comes from or was threaded through the Lotus Sutra, which Constance, our past Shuso, led us in. It comes from wealth. You may remember the parable, the prophecy of enlightenment for 500 disciples, chapter 8 of the Lotus Sutra. I'm sure you remember exactly all that. But it's a parable of a jewel hidden in the robe. A wealthy person sews it in the robe of a poor person, and it's always there. It's always there. I mean, a wealthy person meaning like we are all jewels, and it's sewn into our very fabric of existence. Buddha nature is, and we're all walking around like we're impoverished. So we wake up together. So see, this is, so here's last year, right here, right now. So I just want to read you a little bit more of Dogen the Fascicle. The entire world of the 10 directions is one bright pearl. How should I understand this? The entire world of the 10 directions is neither vast nor minute, neither square nor round, not neutral, not active, not obvious, because it is beyond the coming and going of birth and death. It is the coming and going of birth and death. Can't figure this out, just soften your brain. Just let the words wash through you. Thus past days have already left here, and the present moment starts from here. When we investigate the entire world of the 10 directions, who can see it as bits and pieces? Who can talk about it as something solid? These are the words of the Buddhas, the ancestors. Now turn the light around and shine the light within. Illuminate this self. How many ways do you understand this? The entire body is illumination. You are a shining jewel, pearl. The entire body is the entire mind, big mind, all-inclusive, everything that is no thing. When the entire body is the entire body, there is no hindrance. It is gently curved and it turns round. You just feel that. It is gently curved and turns round and round. What we're doing in a practice period. We talk about that rock tumbler or sangha sometimes, you know, bump against each other. You bump into yourself and you bump into the person, and when in fact it's round, gently curved. We're all just turning round and round in this wheel of living and dying, so far beyond living and dying. With the power of the bright pearl manifesting in this way, Avalokiteshvara of compassion and Maitreya of wisdom, see form and hear sound. Old Buddhas and new Buddhas reveal their bodies and expound the Dharma. See, old Buddhas and new Buddhas, that's us. We're revealing our bodies and expounding the Dharma. At this very moment, the bright pearl hangs in space or is sewn inside the robe. A dear friend always gives a valuable pearl. This is one bright pearl, the entire world of the 10 directions, all things turning or not turning are one bright pearl. Limited views are merely limited. How lovely is one bright pearl's infinite colors and shades. Bits and pieces of its colors and shades express the entire world of the 10 directions. No one can take it away. Forward or back, your every step is one bright pearl. The Lojong sayings. One facet of the jewel that we're going to enter fully and deeply that includes everything. I'll repeat it again. Begins with, ends with, no beginning, no end, the rarity and preciousness of human life. The inevitability of death. The awesome and indelible power of our actions. And the inescapability of suffering. All shining, luminous, bright pearls here to awaken us. And what Gretchen and I, Shuso and I are about to read and share together, I think, oh, how lovely the infinite colors and shades of this Sangha and each expression. Bits and pieces of its colors and shades, each person, each phrase we offer from each one of you is expressing the entire world in the 10 directions. So it's turning, it's round, it's gentle, it's beautiful, forward or back. One bright pearl. You ready to hear some expressions in present moment? Dharma Heart Zen. Gretchen and I are gonna share back and forth. I'll read a few and then she'll read a few. And we had to just pick little phrases because again, there are 50 over people in this practice period. Okay, intention to sit every day, to read and learn as much as I can. To deepen my practice and support my Sangha family in every way possible. Exclamation point, 2 times. I love this practice and our beloved Sangha. I practice with and for all beings. I am profoundly grateful. I feel a need to reconnect with my practice, to sit with others and to hear the Dharma. It's difficult to do in person where I live, and I am grateful for the opportunity to zoom into this practice. We're so glad you're here too. You already, it's funny, Norman used to do this, still does maybe sometimes, but I was always so surprised how I knew exactly what it was that I'd said. Even if I'd written it like a long time ago, it was like, oh, that's my voice. I'm hoping to embrace life fully with compassion and kindness and to live well and to die well. My intention to be as present and awake and loving as possible moment to moment. To keep practicing mindfully on behalf of all beings and to continue cultivating Sangha relationships. And I first encountered Buddhism when meeting Suzuki Roshi in 1967. There are some long time in this Sangha, and I have been involved in Buddhist practice ever since. Commitment, experience spaciousness in daily life, especially when engaging in social justice and climate justice activities.
Intention. Training in compassion through Norman Fisher's book feels like a good fit for me right now. Things I'm thinking about, having compassion as change comes up. I am contemplating retirement and my body after 60 seems full of changes. And exploring ways to encourage the mind to rest on love and joy. Commitment, sitting 20 minutes each day, beginning the day with metta and ending with a gratitude practice, taking up Lojong's slogans and studying training in compassion. Commitments. I want to choose a Lojong slogan and practice with it for at least 2 weeks. At that point, I may decide to continue with that slogan or move to another slogan. I will do more reading about Zen. My guiding intention is to trust life itself and attempt to let go of my ideas of how it's supposed to be. And then perhaps there is insight and freedom that can not only help me in navigating life, but also naturally help others. The focus of trust also feels like a deepening of faith, which seems to be trusting in the unknown. I intend to remember that it is more than just sitting 3 mornings a week and a Tuesday night sit with Dharma talk. That Buddhist practice is what has made my life my life. Personal commitments. I commit to increase my daily zazen, to practice with the Heart Sutra, chanting, memorizing, hand copying, to study training in compassion.
To connect with our Sangha more deeply and to honor my practice. To stay in close communication with my practice partners, offering and receiving support and encouragement along the path. And offering my wholehearted loving support to our amazing Shuso. My intention is to explore more deeply my aging process. I commit to participate in the practice period wholeheartedly. Thanks for being Shuso, Gretchen. I found that during the period when I felt truly limited by illness, I retreated into solitude. I didn't want to talk about it with anyone. I needed to go inward to a solitary phase of practice. It's very much of a relief to re-enter the Sangha family, knowing, as Chris said, the door is always open. I bowed and walked through the door. This has been a comforting mantra for me. To work on the goals of continuous practice and following the precepts, and to lose the hope or expectation of gaining something from practice. Just practice. See, pearls, right? Buddhas, my goodness. Fewer thoughts of me, good or bad, in order to be more in touch with our inherent oneness of love and joy. Less me, more love, exclamation point. I commit to practicing with love with and for all beings. A desire to deepen my practice with this community. My intention is to deepen the practices of patience, pace, and focus in my daily and creative life.
Intention to attend as many in-person Sangha meetings as I can, to read Norman Fisher's book on Lojong training, to reread parts of Pema Chodron's book, Start Where You Are, A Guide to Compassionate Living, to continue to practice Tonglen, investigating the boundlessness of the heart. My intention is to deepen my level of compassion for all beings, which has waned somewhat as I've been a long-time caregiver. I want to get back to practicing regularly, to participate in the reading of the Lojong book and practice its exercises regularly. I would like to be more connected with the Sangha, with the people who are actively practicing. My intention is to practice with the 16 Bodhisattva precepts, daily chanting the precepts and reflecting on how practicing them arises in my daily life, and where I fall short. I think studying the Lojong slogans will be a helpful encouragement as I work with the precepts. My commitment is to layer daily meditation into my practice, to join as many of the Sangha events as I can, to join some of the all-day sits during practice period, and to read Living by Vow and the practice period texts.
I intend to practice awareness, clear my own mind of hindrances, so I can serve others. Live in ease with paradox. To cultivate curiosity and note my comparing and judging mind with compassion. To encourage others. To be aware when I do harm and inquire about its impact and make amends. That's even the first part of it. There's more. It's so wonderful how much when you read an application and you know the person that said it, I mean, maybe you can even feel it, is we all just express ourselves in such a unique way. Since retiring, I have been working on being kind to myself with a focus on allowing myself to be okay with just relaxing. I deal with this by practicing gratitude. So this will be the focus of this practice period. I am finding that the kinder I am to myself, the kinder I can be with others. I've been inspired by a phrase discovered during my study with Chris, Jinzu Myoyu, quote, subtly exercising spiritual powers at all times. In action, my commitment to Jinzu Myoju looks like attuning to the sacred in ordinary moments, daily zazen, caring for my home, caring for the foods that nourish me, being in relationship with my ancestors through prayers and offerings, subtle energy movement daily, nurturing relationship with spiritual friends, attending Sangha, studying the Lojong, and listening to nature and to myself. To work with the Lojong slogans to practice compassion for all capital letter beings. I am working on detaching from my ego's quote stories and acceptance of impermanence, working with the fear that comes with relinquishing control. I tend to overcommit to things and then sacrifice my own well-being to keep my commitments. So my hope is to, and then this person lists what they're going to do. And I also hope to be able to know when missing a session is the right thing for me. And to practice with the feelings of guilt that can come up around doing that commitment, to not around doing that. Commitment to sit in discomfort on and off the cushion with patience, love, and compassion. To approach challenges with presence, patience, and compassion.
I have been experiencing an unfortunate constellation of losses, intense psychological and emotional distress as a result, and plain old everyday existential angst. My human relationships are in disarray. It is clear that I need to make some personal changes, learn a new dance. I believe the unpretentious practice of Zazen offers the groundedness and rootedness I am missing. I also want to laugh a lot and play and have amazing joy in my life, as well as live my life dharmically. I need more joy. One goal is to practice emotional self-regulation without using alcohol or cannabis as a quick fix. I will meditate more, go out in nature more, pray, and begin drawing and coloring. Intention. It's been a while before I've dived into Lojong, so I am really looking forward to this practice period. I find that practice period also settles and grounds me, which I need at this time in my life. I'm studying loving slogans and may take Norman's book. I have selected slogans to follow and focus in my practice.
My intention is to explore and practice what I'm calling everyday oneness. Moments, glimpses of being deliciously lost in emptiness when no matter how fleetingly my separate self is gone. Perhaps that will ease the low-grade anxiety I often feel. To expand my capacity to be with the deep suffering of others and to hold my center and my light in the process. The Sangha is the place I go to find renewal and refuge. The Sangha reminds me of who I am in this life over and over. It reminds me that all the things that I've acquired, all the things that I've done, all of my accomplishments are not the most important thing. The most important thing is to be awake. And that is the intention that brings me to this practice period this time around. These were just, we were all just a bunch of bumbling human beings. I mean, wow. I intend the practice period to help me focus on healing, cultivating self-care, connecting more with Sangha members, regular meditation practice, weekly meetings, reading, and relevant online offerings. I'm committed to sitting with my feelings upright. To continue to deepen my practice as I navigate grief and loss. Continue to sit daily, but add outdoor kinhin in nature and mindful kayak.
What intention brings you to this practice period? I attend annually to deepen my practice and bring myself closer to the group. She adds, I also love Gretchen, which. An intention to bring more groundedness and calm to the time of stress and transition, to meet challenging situations with wisdom. My personal commitment to deepen my practice is to sit with the Sangha in person as much as I can. My intention is to be back on a regular schedule with my meditation practice. I want to strengthen and deepen my connection to the Dharma. What intention? Peace, seeking peace in everyday life, deep acceptance of what is. Personal commitments, more time just sitting, connecting intentionally with my practice partner and other people in the Sangha, practicing through my home commitments, trying to stay with difficult feelings, especially grief, sadness, and anxiety, uncertainty. And then a list of commitments, personal check-ins, stay present and listen even when crankiness and complaints are the only things offered. Share something I appreciate about them. Be honest when something bothers me and speak with kindness. Write in my journal, read self-help book to be determined. and pray for guidance. Another intention is to maintain a deeper sitting period. I've been in the slump of finding peace in sitting, my mind going everywhere. I am working on anxiety issues and am in therapy with it to remind me of all the self-care I have developed through the years and to put those positive practices to use. To work on feeling centered, to work on kindness and patience with others, to find ways to not be so annoyed by technology. To make time for watering the plants, reading short stories, and being outdoors. To sit in discomfort on and off the cushion with patience, love, and compassion, to approach challenges with presence, patience, and compassion. Have practice be constant.
The current world reality is so very heartbreaking. I have not felt this before. And during this practice period, something of great importance will occur, the presidential election. I feel fear and deep sorrow, and not knowing seems very intimate. I commit to grounding and opening wider to compassion for everyone, including the ones it seems so easy to despise. I commit to feeling the sorrow and to praying. Each time I hear or read a news story, I stop to bless the suffering. Be aware of how I can be aware of the stories I construct and question their truth rather than believe them. Embrace unpowerful not knowing. Remember that I'm just another human being doing what human beings do. How can I bring love, acceptance, and even levity to my own experiences, thoughts, and feelings, and to all beings? I find that the practice period helps me to refocus and deepen my meditation practice and my way in the world. I have greatly appreciated having a partner to share about my practice and other aspects of our lives. I live far away so I can be near my 94-year-old mom and help her out, and I miss California and my Buddhist community there and have not found the same heart space here. My intention is to do more seated meditation with others. I am practicing every awake minute as best I know how. In my current situation, which is one of the more intense ones to manage that I've experienced in my 82 years. Chris and the whole Dharma Heart group helps me so much, especially in our day-to-day personal practice focus. That's it, right?
Oh, yeah.
As if it wasn't enough. Zen, this is my own personal little philosophy. Maybe it's just true for me, but maybe. I think Zen, I mean, there's 100 million different traditions. You know, some people go to baptisms, Baptist church, some people go to, and the people who end up in Zen, I think are often, at least I'll speak for myself, introverts. We really want to be with people, but we don't really want to talk to them or hang out with them. I like our own little square cushion. Bow and all, but it's really lovely that more and more we understand that this talking, I mean, we never used to talk to each other. I mean, much less even process inside our own hearts and minds. We just listen Now it's like. There's something that happens in relationship. And actually in being able to listen, deep listening, like we've been doing, and to express yourself. To express your deep heart, which is really different than socializing. I still can't socialize. But little by little, I feel like my yearning has always been, what's a true word? How do you express yourself? And you can hear this here. So please, being in relationship, today we're in silence, but don't think that when you're in silence, you are not expressing yourself and we are not influencing each other. It's amazing how deeply and intimately, even online, not even online, but we know each other. It's like we know each other's toes. I mean, how many people know each other's toes or just the way that you bow or how your body is when you sit. It's deep intimacy to these retreats. So please come to the sittings, come to Sangha. The Lojong teachings and Tonglen, we're gonna need them. You think we don't already? No matter what happens after this certain date that we all know is hovering in the air, is you know what? This is samsara. And it's on fire. And it's also wondrous and amazing. And we come together to remember hope and joy. To bow, be grateful. Please, we're gonna, for people who are in the practice period, we're gonna meet at the end of the sitting today and we'll tell you who your partners are, and then Gretchen will send out a contact list and the list again of who your partners are. Please be in touch with each other. And we should also, I'll give you to send out guidelines about how to do it, because this is not, I mean, you can go be social together afterwards if you want, but these are practice-oriented conversations. You're really listening and helping each other practice, including confessions, which is, I have no idea where I was for the last week, but I'm really glad that I'm here and remembering that this is where I want to be. Shuso teas. We're gonna do one big tea that will have a creative aspect. I'll let you know about that as we go along. At this very moment, the bright pearl hangs in space or is sewn inside the robe. A dear friend always gives a valuable pearl. This is one bright pearl, the entire world of the 10 directions. All things turning or not turning are one bright pearl. Limited views are merely limited. Oh, well, that sure was a limited view, Chris. It's really helpful. I have lots of them. It's just like, wow. Listen to yourself and your small self and your big self. How lovely is one bright pearl's infinite colors and shades. Bits and pieces of its colors and shades express the entire world of the 10 directions. No one can take it away. Forward or back, your every step is one bright pearl. One might also say the whole world in a dewdrop. There's raindrops out there on the bamboo. Just spend a moment today contemplating, wherever you are and whatever you find, but just a drop of water. A dewdrop, a raindrop. And remember, you can't do this by yourself. It's impossible. Because little bit like, sorry, we're gonna end it. This, this is, maybe I don't know, but I'm gonna say it. Is during the most recent climate disasters, some people were confessing that they thought they could leave one place to go to another place to escape the climate disasters. It's like, if I could get out of this personality, maybe I could go find one that could do this better. Or maybe I'd get a body where my knees wouldn't hurt quite so much. You know, I mean, we're bargaining all the time. It's human. But let's all, limited views are limited views, that's all. They're fun, I mean, they're kind of, when you can look at them playfully, they're kind of funny. I mean, just watching what we do. It's like, oh my goodness. And it's poignant and it's sad, and we're waking up in the midst of them, and we're helping. As we do that, the whole world wakes up. Don't for a minute. Well, you will. But bring yourself back, so will I. Think that what you're doing or not doing, that this practice period isn't affecting the whole world. And the whole world is affecting us. You know, this is porous boundaries. Whole world is one bright pearl, colors and shades, round and turning, gentle and alive. And I, for one, feel great privilege to be able to practice with all of you. I sometimes think, I don't know how we all got so lucky, really. So, okay. So now we're gonna do the end of lecture chant. We're gonna do some more zazen, we're gonna do some more kini, we're gonna go on and on forever, and sometimes you like it and sometimes you won't.